belong to the Father, ain't no pledge of allegiance. We both to celebrate that killing that he didn't need to. We both to keep the holy days, don't be like the heathen. He said that for a reason. We in Babylon. He coming back without a warning like an avalanche. Think you gon' keep burning people, he ain't having all. All praise to God.
You heard about Cherizier? Cherizier, the guy that they call the gangster.
Yes, the gangster, yes.
You heard about him? What do you know about this guy? What do you think of him?
I don't know much about him, but as far as I know, I can see he's a guy who creates mayhem and chaos in Haiti for now 2 years. And yesterday, it's like he bombed an hospital.
He bombed an hospital?
Yeah.
You believe he creates mayhem?
Yes.
Why do you believe?
So how come can you bomb an hospital?
How many times Americans have bombed hospitals? They bomb hospitals all the time.
The US military will announce disciplinary action against 16 service members connected to last year's hospital bombing in Afghanistan.
So meaning are you supporting somebody?
No, I firmly believe there's always a three version to every story. There's your version, my version, and the truth. You know, people are not listening to the truth. People are busy condemning this guy without necessarily understanding where he comes from.
Okay.
You know, Cherizier is not necessarily a gangster. You know, people say he's a gangster, right? Like Malcolm X said, the media is so powerful, it can make you believe that your oppressor is the bad person and your oppressor is the good person. And this is exactly what's happening in Haiti. The bottom line is this, let me give you context, okay? In Haiti, you have 12 families. This is a version you've probably never heard about.
Okay.
12 families that run the country. Haiti is a predominantly black country. And this, you know, as you can see on the map, it's a big, you know, one of the oldest countries in the world in terms of black people. Haiti was the very first black country to be freed from colonialism.
Okay.
Yeah, they came together, they were colonized by the French. The French came to Africa, picked up people, took them to Haiti to go work in the land, in agriculture, to work sugar cane and many other things. Now, these people took with them their religion, which is voodoo. Voodoo is a religion practiced in some areas of Benin and some areas of Nigeria. So these guys went to Haiti with this religion in their head, okay? So what they did was, they sat down together. They prayed to their God. I know many people believe voodoo is necessarily Satanism. It's not, okay? This is what Western nations make you believe. They sat together, they prayed, and the very next day they went to war against the French. And guess what they did? They massacred the French in that island. They beat them so bad with the leadership of Toussaint Louverture and Dessalines. They destroyed the French. And the French with the Britain came with big boats, big ships, saying we're going to bomb you and finish you if you do not give up arms. That's when they came up with an agreement saying we're going to pay you, we want our freedom, however, we're going to have to pay you for the rest of hundreds of years. And what's happened later was that many countries in the world refused to work with Haiti because Haiti was liberated. You know, in the beginning of the century, they were already liberated. Many African countries got their independence in the 1960s. Haiti already back in time was a free country. But the trick was they would not allow them to develop, because if they allowed them to develop, African countries and other colonized countries would have freed themselves, because if they look at Haiti, they would have said, oh, Haiti has done it, we can do it too. So they plotted. They refused to deal with them. They refused to exchange with them. They refused to do business with them with the goal of keeping them into poverty. That's what's happening in that country. The country has gone through so much and people don't understand. Now, Cherizier is fighting for the people.
Nous c'est bon petit Dessalines, jodi a nous pas quitter aucune troupe étrangère venir entrer venir assassiner moun dans pays. Au péril de notre vie, 15 ans nous couler, n'a continuer goumer jusqu'à dernier bout de sang nous pour nous défendre l'intégrité et la souveraineté pays ça. Et pour pas haïtien, pour sous sol là, nous considérons comme envahisseur.
Because his people are all subjected to these 12 families. Okay, these families are Russians, the Syrians, some of those countries that you don't name. Okay, they run the economy. The petroleum, electricity, water, food, everything is run through them. 12 families. The majority of the people are black, but these 12 families of white people are running the entire economy. And Cherizier is one of those people that say, no, we're not going to accept this anymore. We are done with this. We want power for the people. This is our country. And let me remind you, Haiti's got minerals that you find nowhere else in the world.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, things looking like Wakanda. It is in Haiti. There are some crazy stuff mineral over there. And that is the reason why America and everybody's interested. America's never interested in something for nothing. Never.
Yeah, but why is this guy very powerful? He don't own helicopters, strong weapons, and I can see Kenyan helicopters, strong weapons, and I can see Kenyan mission are not able to contain him. So
Well, do you think you need to own helicopters to be able to defend yourself? I don't think so. I think it's all about values. Let me give you a very simple example. It's like if somebody strong comes to you and say, I'm going to beat you up, and you see them, you look at his biceps, you go like, oh, maybe not. Let me avoid this guy. Let me give you another context, okay? You're standing with your mother or with your child or somebody dear to you, and the very same strong person comes to them and try to push them around. Are you going to look and say, no, he's too big, he has big muscles, I'm not going to react?
No.
You're not going to stand for that. Why? Because the whole picture has changed. You would have accepted him to bully you because it was just you, but you will never accept a bully your mother in front of you. It doesn't matter how strong they are. And that is exactly what's happening with these people. It's the same thing for Vietnamese. They had no drone, no helicopters, nothing like that, no big weapons, but they resisted against Americans. Americans went to Vietnam trying to take the land. The Vietnamese had no big weapons. They fought Americans. They destroyed them completely. Americans came and the Vietnamese went underground. They were hiding underground. And they were so short, 1 meter, 50 centimeter tall guy. They could easily enter these tunnels, easily. So I don't think it's about helicopters. I think it's about what you believe inside you. So just like the Vietnamese, I believe Cherizier understand that these Kenyans have come to my country to come and create mayhem. That's what he believes. The Kenyan went to Haiti because America felt they don't want to go there because America has a very negative image in the world. Most people feel like America plays the police of the world. Okay. So if America had to go to Haiti to look at, America is going to police the world again. So let's find them, a black country. People with black skin so they can go and punish them in the name of America. Of course, why? America is going to pay money to the Kenyans. Let me tell you what, many Kenyan policemen that have gone to Haiti don't even know what they're going there for. They're just obeying the rules as a soldier. They tell you jump, you jump, because it's the army. But I'm sure by the time they got to Haiti and understood what's actually happening, they probably changed their mind, saying, this is what's happening here. We didn't know about this. We didn't know y'all were actually fighting for your right against these white people that are controlling the country. So maybe we won't fight as much as we came to fight for. So maybe have you thought about the possibility that maybe the Kenyans that are not pushing very hard is because they realize that actually these guys are fighting for the right cause and we are here, we didn't know what was going on. That's exactly what's happening in Haiti. So I think it's a perspective that many people don't talk about. Many people perceive Cherizier as a gang leader, a controversial figure that destroyed things. But if you follow the story, most of the people that stood up in Haiti for the interests of were unalived. Okay, the bottom line is Haiti has gone through many things in the past. A few years ago, there was an earthquake, massive earthquake, that destroyed all the infrastructure of the country, already poor at the time. Now, some NGOs came together saying we need money so we can contribute and build the houses back for these guys. And a lot of people contributed. Many people put money together. Even normal people in the street in Africa contributed.
And we believe that our work here in Haiti and here in the north is beginning to show results.
So they gathered about a few $1 billion for Haiti through the president of the United States and his wife. He worked for the United States as well. I don't name those people because then they're going to come looking for you. You know that president. His wife worked for the government as well. Okay. So they put money together. Guess how many houses they built? Less than 50 houses. With $1 billion, more than $1 billion, like a couple of $1 billion money they got. They spent all the money on themselves. And everybody that stood up and talking about this was unalived. Okay? The country has gone through so many things. And beside that, there was a moment where the United Nations soldiers went to Haiti. They were stationed there. Their military base. Instead of creating toilets, proper toilets for themselves, they went next to a river and created toilets. And these toilets, when they go to the toilet, the trash or whatever you call it, doesn't go through the soil, but the defecation goes through the river. And this is a drinking water river. The river was being used as a drinking water platform. Guess what happened next? People got cholera.
It's only people downriver who have been infected. A child close to here died. Another family had 3 kids get diarrhea, and one died the same day.
And many Haitians was unalive. And the United Nations refused to acknowledge that fact.
To cholera outbreak.
Yes. People have gone through so much. And these United Nations soldiers mostly came from Bangladesh and some Asian countries. These guys have gone through so much. Okay, and now the Kenyan government has sent soldiers or policemen to go and fight this guy who's fighting, in fact, for the right of their people. I don't think it's honest. Okay. Well, I'm not supporting his fight. It's not necessarily what I'm saying. What I'm saying is there's a perspective that many people are not seeing. And like Malcolm X said, the media can paint you whatever they want to do. They're going to make you look like you're the evil guy, you're doing the wrong things. But the truth is in the pudding. Okay? Here's a map, fellas. Very interesting story. The Prime Minister of the Mauritian Republic have refused an offer from the UK government. He said the offer does not align with them. That's not what they want. The Chagos Archipelago is a British colony. You can see this land here. This archipelago is controlled by the British. It's been controlled by the British for many, many years, for 200 years. So the British came from wherever they were. They just came to different places in the world and took over. It's crazy, isn't it?
Very crazy. So and I wonder how come can the British can establish a base, military base in African land, while we African, we don't have any base whether in Europe, Asia or America. So maybe sometimes it's not good to blame the British people, but to blame our leaders. Why are they accepting that?
You got a point. You got a point. But this British base was established in the 1960s. Okay. At that time, black people have nothing to say. They had no words. We were considered as, I mean, even in America, black people were nobodies. I mean, we live in a world that is very hypocritical. The bottom line is they're trying to make you feel like you're a human being today, but that's not how they treated us back in time. And the British and the French came into many places in the world and took over land. I mean, look at this. This is Martinique. Okay? Look at France. Look at Martinique. Look at France. How is Martinique part of France? It makes no sense. It's thousands of kilometers away. How did that become France? It still is France today. And they don't get the best service delivery from France at all. They just use them for agriculture, for the fertile ground and stuff like that. So the British came into this archipelago and they took over. They chased the people out. People from Chagos were chased out of their own home. Imagine. Imagine you being chased out of your home. Get out. You're not going to be here. We want to build a military base for Britain. How do you feel about that?
That is unacceptable.
It's unacceptable. So they were chased out of their base. And then Britain dared to say we don't want immigrants in our country. How do you go to somebody else's country, chase them out, then dare to say, no, you don't come to my country because there's too many of us here. Stop the boat. Nonsense. So they chased the people and took over the land. They created a military base. And from that base, they did operation into Iraq, in Afghanistan. And later on, America rented the base. America also uses the base. And they think it's important for their powerful influence across the world.
So when they rented it, the money was going to Mauritius or
the money was certainly going to the British, not Mauritius. They're not people. They don't consider them at all. So after 200 years, the United Nations voted that they should give them these lands back because it belongs to them. However, Britain has come up with a contract saying we're going to give you the land, but we want to keep our base here, our military base. And so the new Prime Minister is not okay with that. He says, no, we're not going to do that. We are not happy with that. Because our people want to come back. If there is a military base, then the people cannot come back to the land of their ancestors.
So now what's the way forward?
Well, the way forward is to keep putting pressure, I guess. I mean, you're not going to fight Britain. They will bombard you. So what's happening right now is that there's a government in the UK, which is a Labour government. The Labour government is willing to release, the archipelago. And the government in America right now is the Democrats. They're also willing to release. So they're trying to push very fast before Donald Trump comes back into power. Because if Trump comes in power, he will refuse this deal. Trump will say, no, we're going to keep our base there. Just like he did in Iraq when he said we're not going to leave Iraq. We have one of the biggest U.S. embassies in the world here.
We've spent a tremendous amount of money on building airports and building... it's one of the largest embassies we have in the world, Mike. And we want to be reimbursed for the various costs that we have had.
We invested a lot of money. If you want us to leave, because Iraqis say you must leave, if you want us to leave, you need to pay us the money that was used to build this base. Does that even make sense? Iraqis didn't ask them to build the base.
Devil trying to take my mind. I've been doing fine. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, he been on my line. Girl, you take this pain away. Yeah. Talk to my knees, I need to pray. Yeah. My blessed heart might really fail. Keep my faith in y'all. not to go to hell. I'm waiting on the Father, having patience like a snail. Keep my faith in y'all, whatever happens is your will. I be going through it, but I tell them all is well.
Nobody told me that the road would be easy, and I don't believe he brought me this far to leave me. Nobody told me that the road would be easy, and I don't believe he brought me this far to leave me.